Chapter 14. She loves me. Some people might not appreciate the irony, but even during the darkest time of my young life, there was some lighter moments. I always knew men could be resourceful, but just how ingenious they could be might be summed up in the following antidote. One day, as I sniffed the air, I got a whiff of an unmistakable smell, the distillation of liquor. My curiosity aroused, I had to find out the source of the odor. A little investigative work, actually I just followed my nose, I found the scene of the crime. I discovered one of our farm's more enterprising ventures, making moonshine in the old distillery. Apparently, despite rampant starvation all across Germany, some enemy officials still thought that using potatoes to make a respectable batch of liquor was truly a noble act of fine German patriotism. And after filtering a taste one day, I grudgingly agreed that in one way it was true and noble, as fine a brew of moonshine I had ever tasted. Anyway, from then on, every Sunday after chores, I would head to the hill to the distillery to take advantage of one of its main products, steamy hot water. It was an ideal environment for a much-needed warm bath. Afterward, I usually sat down to dry off on the grass, taking a moment to appreciate the wonderful feeling of being clean. Then I would turn my attention to the task at hand, carefully picking lice off my body so that I would have a few moments of reprieve from the pestilent things crawling on me. Being infested with lice was just an annoying fact of life. I had a much more distressing problem. I had not heard from Elaine in over 6 months. I suppose it was a blessing that August was one of the busiest months on the dairy farm. Since I was in charge of the horses, I needed to keep the machinery working in top efficiency. We worked long hours bringing in the harvest. I had no time to write and got little mail in return. By the time I had a few moments to write in early September, I had just about given up Elaine as a lost cause. September 3rd, 1944. Dear Mom and Dad, I received a card from you yesterday. That makes 2 letters. It sure is good to get mail from home. A year ago today I was home on furlough. It makes me lonesome to think of it. I'm feeling good, so don't worry. Love, and may God bless you, Gerhard. Things are settling down in the sort of normalcy as the routine of the farm continued, but I could not shake my deepest fears that Elaine had found someone else. Getting letters from home on a regular basis was vital to maintaining morale, but every soldier could count on the spiritual comfort of having a girl he was fighting to get home to. After the war, I read about an anonymous soldier preparing to embark on the D-Day invasion who wrote to his mother, I haven't got what they call a real girlfriend. On a night like this, sure hurts. Guy gets lonely out there and should have someone to come back to, a girl to marry and have for the mother of his kids. One who would wait and pray for you on the night like this. GIs like me who had a real woman waiting back home, had a different problem. The faithfulness of our wives and sweethearts. It cannot be understood what source of continual anxiety this preoccupation presented for us frontline soldiers. A Dear John letter would be devastating. Next to an enemy bullet, the receipt of such a letter confessing marital infidelity or desertion was the worst blow that could hit an infantryman in the front line foxhole. An appropriate gauge of the depth of sorrow such as a betrayal could engender a support group established for some GIs in North Africa. They arranged a bush-off club, whose only admission qualification was that a new member had to have been jilted. Then, out of the blue, on September 10th, there it was. Finally, a letter from Elaine. Notice my garrulity mentioned in this letter to my parents. September 10th, 1944. Dear Mom and Dad, I feel very good today, and I'm going to drop you a few lines. I received 5 letters from you yesterday, so you can imagine why I feel so good. It does seem good to be getting mail from home. Oh, yes. Will you greet Leroy? It is his birthday today, so I've been thinking of him all day. Oh, yes, I got a letter from Elaine today, but I haven't got any PKGs from her as of yet. I got a letter from Leroy and Viola, and also will greet you all folks around home for me. Well, space is limited, so I have to close, and may God bless you, Gerard. There were a few simple words formed in one simple sentence. Oh, yes, and I got a letter from Elaine today. A letter from Elaine. I felt like I had hit the jackpot. I walked around in a happy stupor for next several weeks. My sweetheart still loved me. She was waiting for me. I was the happiest, luckiest, most optimistic POW the world had ever seen. Things were all going to be downhill from now on, I told my buddies. For the next few months, I was almost content, ready to wait as long as it took for the Allied liberation and victory. And then exactly 2 months to the day after I got Elaine's letter, I had to go and fall off that damnable horse.